You have a good pulse of what's really going on with younger people. What's something that you've noticed that mainstream media either gets wrong or is just out of touch on?
Young men especially, they desire to be more religious than I think they give them credit for. There is a return to religion. There's definitely a curiosity for God and for going back to the church in a very serious and significant way. Modernity has given us a lot of great stuff, right? I mean, praise God that we have modern medicine and surgery, but the core of modernity is what? You are in charge of your own life, and you could do whatever you want to do, and you're the center of the universe. Sounds good, leads to highest anxiety and hopelessness. There's constant change. And I think young people want to go to a church environment that isn't changing. They want to go to a place that is stable, that is consistent, that is beautiful, that is ancient, that is everlasting, and that is eternal.
What do you think is the biggest issue with modern dating? You know, Graham, he got married a year or so
Congratulations. Have as many kids as you can afford. The biggest problem with modern dating is very interesting. We had a women's summit. The young ladies all raise their hands. They're like, how many of you are unhappy with the dating pool? Every woman raises their hand. Funny, all the young men I talk to are unhappy with you too. So who's wrong? I would say generally, I hear more complaints about the dating pool than, like, wow, there's so many options. Yeah. What's the problem with women? And then I'll go to the problem with men. The problem with women is that many of them, have unrealistic expectations of the man that they want. A lot of them. Like, I want a guy that's earning $1 million a year and he's 6'4" and I want him to have a perfect jaw. And I'm like, yeah, that's never going to happen. How about, where on your list is like, I want someone who will be a good father or someone with good character. Why don't you want someone that's going to be loyal to you and not cheat on you? Like, oh yeah, I want that too. Oh, okay, got it. So basically you want like Ken Barbie doll, and then you'll have like all the good virtues. Number two is that we need to tell women more clearly that if you do not have children before the age of 30, there's only a 50% chance that you will have children.
That's a fact?
It's a fact. You can fact check me on that. But I think that we've gone wrong here, that women should prioritize family and children way above career, that they should try to find their husband before they're 25. Having children, I believe, is a blessing of the Lord. It's the most amazing thing. You should try to have as many children as you can. Much more important than traveling to Thailand or having a big apartment or a bunch of cats. Having children are a gift from the Lord. So young ladies, they need to be very clear about what they're expecting in a man and date with the intent to marry and not just date to, have a good time.
Yes. What do you think is the main thing men need to do to make themselves worthy?
The most attractive quality in a young man that young women can't ever articulate is self-control. A woman needs to be able to know that you can control your impulses when things get really crazy. They can't articulate it, but that's what they want. So for example, they want to be able, when you go on a date, can you control your mouth? Can you control your tongue? Can you control your eye? Are you going to cheat on her? Are you going to have a wandering eye? Women can't always put that into words, but that differentiates a boy from a man. So you have to be able to control your flesh. And so when men are dating, if you want to make yourself more attractive to a woman, first of all, demonstrate self-control. And also women want to be taken care of. I know this is super provocative, but deep down, they want a man to be able to provide for them financially.
Should a man pay on the first date?
100%. What kind of a wuss beta male is splitting the check? I would go into debt, scrub dishes before a woman paid for it.
I split the check quite a lot.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you. You guys are great. That's incomprehensible to me. I think that's...
To me, I thought it was a great financial decision.
From your prism, I totally get that. And you have really good financial discipline. I'm sorry, I would be so humiliated. I find that to be the greatest beta male humiliation.
To save money?
To the idea that a woman that you're trying to court, by the way, that money you save is not worth the honor that you compromise.
It is such a big deal.
It's a massive deal.
No, in fairness, for your point with Macy, I paid for the whole first date.
Well, hold on, why'd you do that one though?
I was at a level where that felt like the right choice to make. I was also in a point where I was ready to be able to
financially.
Yes.
Legit, I get that.
Early 20s,
I still think
saving $5 here and there, I would do it. I would go to
so you're manic with saving money.
I brought food from home.
No, that's
today.
By the way.
And coffee from home.
Frugality is a virtue.
Yeah.
So we as Christians believe that there is an order of virtues, and above frugality is honor. And so we as men must lead. We must provide. Under no circumstance ever should a man ever let a woman pay for a date, or you should split ever. No circumstance.
Even on the third, fourth, fifth.
What if it's the first date and you're just not into
anything?
Okay, well, let me...
Period.
Well, let me... Okay, so
what kind of world are we living in?
I agree with you. If I'm dating a girl, I would pay for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. However, I could see for other people that might be in a different financial position, you pay for 10 dates and then she's like, you know what? I want to treat you.
That's totally different. What we're talking about is we're going to alternate. Once you're serious and she wants to take you out to something for a nice dinner. By the way, if you have the intent to marry, you're already kind of blessed blending finances. Like, I get that psychologically, but like if you're like, oh, we'll take turns. You pay this time, I pay this time.
What's your advice to a girl who the guy she's currently seeing, he says that?
Oh, do not marry that man. You as women should want to be provided for. In fact, you should have an expectation that you as a woman are so important and so critical and so necessary and beautiful that it shouldn't even be a question. Now, if it's a business lunch or like friend zone stuff, 50-50. We're not talking about that. I have a lot of tips. So for marriage or for dating? I have
both. Let's start with dating and then move our way to marriage.
So in dating, bring back purity, bring back saving yourself for marriage. Okay, but other things is this. You should go on a road trip with the person you're dating. It's very important. You should find uncomfortable, high pressure travel situations. That's not just like flying first class to Aruba. And you should try to be in places of discomfort intentionally with who you are dating, and you'll find out a lot with that person. Going into marriage though, I'm a big believer in premarital counseling. I think that there are several questions that are not answered when most people go into marriage that should be answered. Money is number one, right? Who's going to handle the finances? Here's one that you might not have done that you should do while you're still in the honeymoon phase. Are you going to have an open or closed house? So were you raised in a house where a lot of friends came over all the time? Or were you raised in a house where almost no friends came over? It's an important question because I was raised in a very closed house. I know people that are raised in open houses and it's destroyed their marriages. You know the type where they're always having people over? Imagine if you were to marry a closed house person and all of a sudden you were like, hey, we're going to constantly have a stream of people, and you don't talk about that before marriage. All of a sudden, you're like, it's total chaos for a closed house person because they're raised in a place where evenings are very quiet. This is another important. Make sure that you get along with each other, that you really like each other, not just love each other, that you like spending time with that person. One of my favorite words in the English language is like. It's very unique. Only the English language actually has that. Do you like spending time or do you just love that person? Because liking is like, hey, can you talk to that person 7 hours uninterrupted on a park bench if you needed to? Or is it just kind of like an annoyance and is it just purely physical? Other questions and other pieces of advice that I think are really important. In-laws matter. They really do. They shouldn't always necessarily be deal breakers, but boy, you should know the in-laws because you know, your wife will take the form of the mother more times than not. Children, how many children? When are you going to have children? Is it a priority? Will it be early? Will it be late? Religious questions. Are we going to raise them religious? Other questions that I think are really important that actually don't always get flushed out. How many vacations are we going to take? What type of vacations? Are we an RV family? Are we go to a private island family? Are we going to splurge on one vacation a year? Or are we going to do like 3 or 4? This is important before you get married. All of a sudden, you're kind of in the marriage thing and you're like, hey, I just booked us a vacation. Like, what? I didn't want to, because it's different philosophies of time off. Last one, which is the biggest of all. What are acceptable and unacceptable vices for our marriage? For example, is it acceptable for the husband to smoke a cigar? Has she smelled cigar before you get married? And does she know what that is? These are questions that honestly, all the time that people do not always flesh out before marriage. Again, we have an amazing marriage. My wife and I, obviously it's not perfect. No marriage is perfect, but we actually like each other. We prioritize date night. We're actually doing it right after this tonight, which is awesome. But I find so often that people in dating don't date with the intent to marry. And when they end up wanting to marry, they don't even ask the tough questions before they get married.
What do you do now to save as much time as possible?
So I'm a huge scheduler. I schedule out days in advance. This is where I'm going to eat lunch. Like I go down to like 15-minute interval. And then the biggest hack, it's called layering. You know this. So anything you're doing, try to fit 2 or 3 things on top of it. So if I'm traveling to go speak, listen to an audiobook. So then all of a sudden I'm getting 2 things done at once. If I'm training or working out, I'm also going to be trying to listen to a podcast. I'm a big walker. I think there's a couple health hacks out here that are right in front of us that nobody ever wants to talk about. I'm a huge believer in sleep, like massive believer. I think it's totally undervalued. I'm a major believer in walking. I think we don't talk about walking enough. Just walk, not running, not deadlifting, not cold plunging, just walking. I'm a big believer in fasting. I think fasting's like untapped power. And then I just think like not eating terribly. My best ideas are when I'm walking. My best ideas are when I'm moving. And I go for walks with my kids. So as far as time, you just also have to be able to say no.
Could we do a couple rapid fire questions real quick? Okay. What's your biggest insecurity?
Forgetting something I should know.
Will you run for president?
No, I'm not running for president.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. If you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.